man.
Yep. Should I go into recurse CTF?
Yep, let's do another CTF.
This is probably my favorite one in this event. It got 5 solves for the looks of it. And the prompt just says, this is a CTF inside a CTF. We know you've always wanted to hack a CTF and like get all the flags directly from the infrastructure without doing the challenges. So this is your chance. The admin has the flag. So in this case, the objective of the task is to take over the account of the admin. So we're given 2 links. The first one just looks like a website, a CTF website thingy. Let me create a user. Just gonna do test, and log in. Cool. So there seems to be 2 challenges in this CTF, and we have a shell button here. This link is the same as the one here, right there. So if I just click in this, we get a shell. So we can do ID and all of that. We're root. We're inside a container. We can probably tell that if we do this, we should see. Oh, we don't. I was hoping for a like Docker thingy, but probably not because we're in Kubernetes. So yeah, we have a shell. We have recurse CTF here, and this, since we want to overtake the administrator account, I think looking at the cookies would be interesting. I'm just going to delete all of them and sign in again, just so cookies from other challenges don't get us confused. Since they're all in the same path, all the cookies for all of the web challenges just stack up on top of each other. It gets confusing. So you probably can't see it, and I'm probably not able to zoom into this, but it says, I can't zoom into that. It says Redis session. So we know this website is using Redis for the cookie sessions. So that should hint us into taking a look. We can do APK update add nmap. So this will install nmap, and now we can do an nmap of, let's do all ports on localhost. This shouldn't take very long. And we should be able to see that Redis is open. Yeah, right here. Redis is open on localhost, and that's interesting. So let's install Redis, so we have access to the Redis API. You can also do these echoing commands into netcat and sending to them, but if we can install something, it's probably easier.
Yeah, but people in the chat are judging you because you use nmap instead of netstat or ss, so you don't need to scan yourself.
I'm sorry, I'm not a lead hacker. Yeah, to be fair, I rarely use nmap. Like, probably first time I've used nmap in like 6 months is this challenge.
Yeah, that's true.
Cool. So
I usually
now we have
use
Redis.
netcat, so yeah. Sorry, continue.
Redis. Do I remember the syntax for this? Probably not. 1 second.
This is for the chat. I don't think we have SS or netstat in a pure Alpine container. I'm not sure, but people is asking in the chat, so I don't think there is SS or netstat.
No idea. Yeah, so I was thinking, right, this should be the syntax to start a Redis connection to localhost on database 0, which is, you should probably cycle through them until you find something. And now we do keys, all of them. We see 3 of them. Probably because I logged out and logged back in, there's 1 more. If you only log in once, you should only see 2 sessions. So now we can do a get of each of these sessions. That's not it. Can I? Oh, middle click works. Cool. So here at the end, this is the ID of the user. You can see it because of the ID here. It's hex thingy.
Makes sense.
Yeah, this is not text. So this will be the actual Flask session that is created. So I should explain that the cookie here, this one, it has a signature at the end. So there's a UUID followed by a signature, and the client, like the secret used to create that signature, we don't know. So we couldn't just try to use this session right here, like this UUID. That wouldn't work
Okay.
because we don't know the secret to create the signature. So what we're going to do is, I believe our session is this one. I can check it. It ends in A3. So if I go here, and people are just gonna have to trust this because they probably can see this. No, this ends in A6, so it's probably the other one. A6, this one right here, I think. So we can do a get on that, and we should see ID 2. I'm not curious. I want to see what the other one is. Did someone create one? No, it's also 2. Okay. So yeah, one of these 2 is the one for my user, the current one. The other one is the one from before I logged out and back in. So the trick here is people were trying to craft their own signatures, trying to brute force the secret for their signatures. And this is just as easy as setting the value of your session to the admin session. And that way, when the server tries to get your session from Redis, it will get the value for the admin session and think that you're the admin.
Yeah, makes sense.
So to do that, we do set and then the key, which I think we need to use this second one. If not, we'll use the other one. And then the value, which is going to be the same as the first, as the admin one. So that's set okay. And I will go back into Recurse and we refresh. We should see here admin panel. So this was successful. And here is our flag in the admin section.
Nice.
And that's pretty much it. Let me stop this.
So this will be a way to escalate privilege in a platform, getting a cell inside the system.
Yeah. So this originally comes from an issue that I found during Nahamcon 2022, the one in, I think it was April. So not this one, not the EU version, but the one before. I was just going through our infrastructure in GCP, checking some things out, and then I noticed that our Redis server, we use the default GCP service, like they have a managed Redis service. So we were using that, and I noticed that we were using unauthenticated, and then I wondered, wait, so this is accessible from our CTF cluster, like the CTFD cluster. We have 2 separate clusters: the CTFD one where we host the scoreboard, and then the challenge one, just to keep a bit of isolation. So I thought this is probably also accessible from the challenge one. So I tried, and I was able to take over John's account, and we had some laughs in our internal CTF administrator channel. And I had so much fun trying to figure that out that I said, okay, I'm going to make it into a challenge. When I did it originally, it was a bit more complex because Redis wasn't hosted on localhost. So I had to do a wider scan in GCP, which is a pain. At least I knew what I was looking for. So it wasn't that bad, but GCP, like, it won't reply to TCP connections. So it just leaves you hanging until you time out. So yeah, it took a bit of time. Then I found the Redis server, but yeah, in this scenario that we have right now, there is only like 2 sessions. During the Nahamcon, there's like over 5,000 sessions. So trying to find the correct session for John was really tough. I needed to build some in like custom bash scripts that I could run to cycle through all the sessions, trying to look for the. I also knew that John's account was ID number 2. The admin 0 is always the admin one, and I knew that he was the second person to create an account. So it took some time, like 10 minutes, to go through all the sessions and find the correct session. And then just doing this set trick, I was able to over take over his account.
So next time that I play a CTF and they allow you to spawn cells, to spawn machines, and get inside of them with RC, I should look for Nginx services running accessible from this machine, right? To see if I can hack their platform.
It would be against the rules, but it could be fun. Uh, yeah, in
Yeah.
our case, this is fixed now. This won't work. You're still able to get to the machine that runs Redis, but you need password,
Yeah.
and it's randomly generated for every event automatically by Terraform. So it's not really feasible to brute force it or anything like that.
So there is someone in the chat asking to explain this once again. Do you want to let me try to explain the vulnerability to see if I understand it correctly?
Yeah, that sounds great.
So as far as I can tell, you got access to a Redis instance where you could find the cookie sessions of all the users logged in the CTF platform. And what you just did is you got the session of your user. You found the session of admin inside Redis. You found your session inside Redis, and you set the content of the session of the admin user in Redis to your session inside Redis. You just copy paste the content of the admin session in yours. And then once you access again with your own cookie session, you will be given the admin user account.
Yeah, so almost 100% right. It's a little bit the other way around. What I did was set the content of my session to the content of the admin session.
Okay.
The way these sessions work, let me copy this cookie and show it somewhere where you can actually read it, because here it's super tiny. Can I paste it here, for example? And keep pasting that thing.
So
Oh,
that
I killed the container. Maybe it's still here.
let me answer a question while you prepare this. Someone asked, how does the server know that the first session was the session of the admin? Is it stored in any other variable? I guess we know it is.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
all
this is
yours.
what we're getting to now. Is this readable?
I can read it.
Yeah. So this is the value of my cookie for the recurse CTF thing. And in this case, this last part is the signature. We cannot calculate this. So even if we have the first part, this is a UUID randomly generated when you create a new session. This is what identifies the session. So this is what knows, okay, I need to look for something in Redis, and this is the ID of that something that I need to look for. This we can't calculate, so let's just remove it. Then we have this other part is a UUID, and the keys in Redis, there will be a key for every single session, and it will be equal to the UUID that has been generated. So my cookie has the UUID, and Redis has the UUID. What Flask will do, because this is all set up with the Flask Python web server, is get your UUID from your cookie, check that the signature is correct, and then look up that UUID in Redis. So now it knows the content from Redis. It will grab the content of that key, like the value. Redis is a key value kind of database. So you give it a key and it returns a value. And that value in this scenario is, I think it's pickle. It's a pickle object. I think that's what Flask uses. I might be wrong on that. So it basically deserializes or decodes that value, and it says, okay, it says here that this user is ID 1 or ID 2. So what we did was we looked for our session. We can only give the server this session. because we can't change the signature. So what we need to do, instead of setting the admin session to our content, we need to set the content of our session to the content of the admin session. So now, when the Flask server talks to Redis and says, okay, this user claims to be this person and the signature matches, I need you to tell me who he is. Redis will reply with the content of the administrator session instead of ours, and it will say that we are ID1, and therefore when we refreshed, we didn't even have to like log back in or anything like that, because the server checked against Redis and Redis already had the update.
Is the web server of the CTF platform usually in the same machine as the Redis?
I hope not. In our case, it couldn't be. We use Kubernetes for everything because of the scale that we run at.
Um,
So we
that's
have like, during the game, we have over 20 pods running CTFD just to handle the stress from everyone hitting F5 at the start of the game. So all of those need to talk to the same Redis, and that's why we use one hosted in GCP.
Would that mean that if someone managed to compromise this Redis, as you mentioned at the beginning, they could put also a PKL thing in the Redis account that will get unserialized and give them RC into the CTF web host?
I'm pretty sure I've tried this, and I don't remember, and that probably means that it's not possible. We can actually take a look. Read the docs flash session. Hopefully it tells us if this is a pickle or not. No matches.
No PKL.
Probably not pickle then.
Well, I guess it will be interesting to see how is it using all this information, but yeah, man, pretty awesome, pretty awesome. So this is the way we can steal flags from the organization. I now
Yeah,
know something
at
more.
some point for all of our events, except for this one, this has been vulnerable and no one found it.
No, that's
It would have been really impressive for someone to tell us, okay, we found a vulnerability in your CTF infrastructure. That would definitely have given a special prize or something.
I'm probably going to be adding this to Hacktricks also. I have a special section for Flask. It's the first time I'm seeing Flask using cookies in Redis, and this is definitely useful. So I will be putting a link to this video and also this technique in there.
Yeah, it probably isn't default in CTFD, which is done in Flask. That's probably something that we had to configure, but I expect most big CTFs to be running this.
Yeah.
If they're running CTFD, they probably are using Redis or some other kind of cache thing.